Assalamu alaikum, brother. Yeah, I'm very well. You can call me Ali, okay? It's short for Alexander, but you can call me Ali. I can tell you, well, I'm well up in the 60s, 64, nearly retiring. Where am I from? I live in Alnwick, which is about 35 miles north of the cosmopolitan city of Newcastle. It's a different world up here altogether compared to Newcastle. Quiet, peaceful country place. Short background about my life. I had some parents that were very strict. I can't read. I'm dyslexic, which means I can write, but my spelling is absolutely useless. I've done a lot of things in the world that people wouldn't even dream of doing. I've visited a lot of places in the world. Unfortunately, it was to do with the job I had at the time. It's been a life where you do things because you're paid to do it. You're paid to go to places like Central America, whether you go to Canada, whether you go to South Africa, or whether you go to the Far East or Eastern Europe. Growing up was hard. Growing up was very beneficial and a learning process. When you get told by your schoolmaster when you're 14 years of age, in 2 or 3 months' time, you're going to be 14, Alec. Yes. I don't think it's worth your while staying on at school. One, you can't read very well. And two, you're no good at spelling. So it'd be better if you went and got a job somewhere and then come back to school after the close of term. That was the situation then. And that's what happened. 14 years of age, that's it. No more schooling. So I was brought up on a farm and that's where I worked. Then there was a stage in life where you're not sure about anything, about the job you're doing, about the money you're making, about the satisfaction of life. You get paid on Friday night, you go out on the beer, you chase the women, and on Saturday morning you're skint. So at that time of life, we had a choice of the Army, the Navy, or the Air Force. And we could do different things, we could see the world and all the rest of it, and we could even get paid for it. Now that sounds pretty good to me. Oh my, you would get a shock. From the day I arrived, hello, you are Mr. So-and-so, yeah. Please make your way up to this block and you're in this room here. Yesterday you called me Mister. Today you're cursing and swearing at me and you're going to beat the living hell out of me if I don't do what I'm told. So I either put up with that or I go back to where I come from. That was the choice that was given. You either accept the treatment that you get or you walk out the door. Yeah, for about 50 years, went to church, and I would say over 50 years that nothing has ever changed in the church. So if nothing changes, life doesn't change. I went on a holiday that I took months to save up for. Went on a holiday to an Islamic country, southern Turkey, 98% Muslim. I was in a place called Obachek, outside of Fethiye. I was standing outside this big, large building, which was a mosque. Elderly gentleman said, would I like to go in? And I said, I know I've got to take my shoes off, right? But anyway, he invited me in. But the building from the outside was totally breathtaking. He said he had to do something like wudu or something, and then he'll be with me. And I took my shoes off, and he took me in. And because I walk with a cane, I was offered a seat, and he said, "I'll just leave you." I was quite shocked that this fabulous building from the outside had nothing inside except a carpet, with a few seats at the very back. Just 4 plain walls, carpet on the floor, and some blue calligraphy writing. I couldn't understand, but it looked very, very lovely. Anyway, I was sat there and I was totally amazed. And there was only one picture on the wall, and it was written in Arabic. The writing on the left said Muhammad, may blessings be upon him. And then on the right hand side was written Allah. That was the only thing in the mosque. Of course, when you look at it, and I looked round, the gentleman had disappeared, and so did 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours in an empty room. Okay, amazing. No mobile phone, nothing. Just sitting there looking at 4 walls with a small picture and admiring the tranquility of that place. So I thought, okay, went out, I've got to find this old chap. Went down the local shop and said, overchecked Blue Mosque. Oh yeah. And I think I've still got a piece of paper today. He wrote on me. He said, that's the time for tonight. And I went back and I waited outside on the road to see him. Nope. So the following morning, it was about 3:30, and all I could hear outside was a load of cursing and swearing. But in the background, I could hear the call for prayers, which meant that 1, we're in a Muslim country, 2, the sun was rising, and 3, we have somebody next door that's got no respect for anybody. So over the week, I tried to go back to the mosque. I haven't seen the guy again. Come back to the UK, done some really wild and stupid things, like try to have a look into the Turkish way of life and everything else, uh, understanding what people done and why they done it, and why there was always 5 pillars in Islam. Believe it or not, I actually saved up again as hard as I could, and I had to go back. There was something missing. I had to go back, and I went back, and I visited a few other mosques there where people actually took me in, although they couldn't speak English. They knew what I wanted, so they took me in. I never met that gentleman again. Never met him ever again. All he said to me was it was something in Arabic, and he was going to do wudu, and then he will be with me. He showed me through the door. He said he had to pray, but after all that time, he disappeared, and I was left on my own. Went back, still haven't found him. And I tried, not because I went on holiday, I went to find him to say thank you. And I wanted to know where I could find help. Nothing. Came back here, went back again. Anyway, I wrote to the imam in Birmingham after a lot of research. And I said, I would like to become Muslim. No answer. So I thought, I'm not having this. Every day for possibly about 6 weeks, every day. I wrote a letter, pen and paper, and posted it with a stamp. I sent emails and everything else. Still no answer. Not going to give up. Not going to give up. So I went back to Turkey, I visited a few more mosques, and learned and somebody said something about shahada. Came back to the UK, and there was an email waiting with a telephone number. Perhaps you should try the IDC at Newcastle. And I thought, maybe it's going to take the same amount of time to answer. But anyway, phoned up. Nice gentleman, Abu Tayyab, and said, come down and meet us at the IDC. I went down there, and I was greeted by a sister there, and I held my hand out to shake her hand, and she said, I'm sorry, I don't shake hands. I said, okay, that's fine, yeah. And I explained who I was. And from meeting Abu Tayyab and him talking through different things, everything started, the jigsaw puzzle was filling out very quickly and getting very put together very, very quickly. The key turning point was when I met him, he held his hand out and he said, good afternoon, Alex. Assalamu alaikum. And he told me what it meant. And he went in and he explained basically roughly what Muslim people were about. Not violent, you know. We look after each other, we look after our families, and we try and do the best we can, and we put our faith in Allah, which is God. And the way he was speaking to us, he didn't speak down to us, he didn't speak up to us, he spoke to us just like a normal person. He spoke to me as if there was no difference between himself and me. There wasn't a great big desk with the hammer and the cloak and everything on, just a normal guy. You know. He said, I said, well, how do you become Muslim? And he said, well, we have a masjid. Friday's a great day for us, and we all get together, and I would like you to come. He said, please come next week on Friday, and we'll go to the masjid. And again, going through that door and finding nothing except carpet and a clock. And the place got packed, absolutely jam-packed. And you didn't know who you were standing next to. And it was as if nobody cared. They were all there for a reason. Nobody was higher or nobody was well off than anybody else, than the person they were standing next to. As long as you stand together, doesn't matter where you stand, as long as you all face the same way, doesn't matter who you stand next to, everyone is the same. And the force that you get when you pray is totally unbelievable. We are in an empty room with a carpet. We are with 200-300 other brothers standing together. There could be 100 sisters upstairs standing together, shoulder to shoulder. That is a lot of emotional power. Went back to the IDC and we spoke a bit more, explained there is only one God, which is Allah, but also there is one messenger, Muhammad, may blessings be upon him, but He's not to be worshipped. We're all Allah's slaves. Yeah. The quicker we remind ourselves that we are here to help other people and not ourselves, is the day things will come right for us. I took my shahada. I have a certificate to travel as a Muslim. I have the best opportunity and the best gift of all. Only after a couple of years, I've been able to do Umrah. It is not up to me to decide. It is up to Allah to decide who goes and who doesn't, and when they go and when they don't. From taking the Shahada, I came home, had a shower, everything. And do you know what the best thing is? There is no telephone exchange to get to Allah. There is no telephone exchange at all. It's a direct line from yourself to Allah. Yeah, we don't have to go and tell everybody what we've done wrong. We can tell him directly. The nearest mosque to here is Granger Road. From door to door, I believe it's around about 32 to 33 miles. All in all, if I leave here at 11 o'clock in the morning to get there for 1:30, then that's fine. How have I been supported? I've met different brothers within the community that work with the IDC. I had the great privilege of being able to cover the 13-week program that was ran for new Muslims, which went through the 5 pillars of Islam right up to today. I have managed to go to Granger Road on Friday nights instead of sort of lunchtime, because there's been lectures or whatever given by different people from around the country that's came in, especially for me at my age, because I'm waiting to die. Okay, so anything related to the word death, like being in the grave, which I've attended them all. What paradise was like, what paradise is not like, what it's like in the grave, and everything else. Everything has fallen into place. I know what to look forward to. Islam is the only meaning that can tell you what's going to happen to you. When you die and the angels come and take your soul and they balance the scales, you can't turn around and say, oh, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. It's too late. It's too late. Do it while you are alive. Do it while you're alive. Help as many people as you can, whether they need it or not. Give it to them. Don't matter who they are, what they are. Help them. I've learned that there is people that is available to help in any way. Something you get with no other thing. My health has increased tremendously over the last 3 years. These last 3 years, especially this last year and a half, is the best last year and a half I've had in the last 15 years. I take roughly 32 tablets a day. And at the side of my bed there, I have what you know is a CPAP machine. When I go to sleep, I put it on and it blows air into my lungs. And if the heart stops, then it'll just kick off and blow some extra stuff down into it. I take medication for killing pain. I take tablets in the morning to make sure my blood stays thin. I take tablets to make sure my heart keeps beating away. I take tablets to make sure that the flow of blood is correct. And I take 16 painkillers a day, which is the equivalent to 4 loads of morphine a day. We take tablets to go to sleep. We take tablets to wake up. We take tablets to make sure that everything inside of me is going to work. And we also take tablets to stop me dying, right? But there's only one who can decide who dies and who lives, and when your time's up and when it's not. But life has become a lot more fruitful. Money means nothing. Okay? And the reason why I say money means nothing is that you cannot take anything with you. The only thing that you can take with you when you go is what you're wrapped in. And that is going to disintegrate within a couple of hours. Because the angels are going to come and they're going to take your soul. And you are going to wait in the queue for the day of judgment to arrive. In the early days, I think with the job that I used to do in that it was just a matter of course. That you mentioned Northern Ireland, you go, oh, IRA. You mentioned Northern Spain, oh, that's separatists. You mentioned Germany, you go, oh, the Baader Meinhof. You mention Muslim, you go, Bonner. There is nothing in the Quran that is to say you must go and do this and you must go and do that because it's wrong. Yeah, you mustn't strap yourself up with explosives and stuff and go down and blow yourself up. It doesn't say that. It says help somebody, not kill somebody, but help them. The people that organise these things, that's when the money rolls in. What you have just done is you have just killed hundreds of families for no reason whatsoever. You've done it for your own gain, which at the end of the day, you're going to get nothing for it. But you are going to suffer, and you're going to be made to suffer for doing it. If somebody's looking into Islam, go for it. Do it. If you are looking into Islam, really look into it and go and do it. Yeah. Go and try and be a Muslim for a day. Although you're not a Muslim, go and try and be a Muslim for a day and see what it actually feels like. Don't be frightened of it and go for it, because it is the only book that has never been altered. The Quran is the Quran. That is it. Do not be frightened of being an outsider. Do not be frightened whatsoever. Look into it. If you're not sure, ask. Do not be frightened to ask. Will you feel better for it? Yes. Now, do I feel better for it? I feel 100% better for it, because I would say just over 3 years ago, to be on the safe side, I could have the choice of finishing life within 48 hours. Suicide is a cry for help. Suicide is, you want to finish your life, but you still want to be alive because you want people to find you. So you'll need looking after. If you're within an Islamic world, you're not going to end up in that situation. Okay? I ended up in a situation where a phone call was going to get me a one-way ticket. And what I mean by that is I would leave here on Friday and I would be dead on Saturday, legally. Because I don't want to stand anymore. I don't want to stand any more pain. I don't want to stand any more people Bible punching. I don't want anybody standing shaking the bucket at me saying donate, donate, donate. And then at the end of the day, they empty the bucket and they change it all into notes and they go out for a 3-course dinner on it. Yeah. Do not let yourself get into that situation. Here I've got 2 letters from Switzerland. Some people have probably heard of the company. They are totally legal. The letters here are quite simple and very straightforward. 1, it's got your name and address on it. 2, it's your payment plan before you decide to go and what's going to happen to you. Okay? Because you can't really die and leave you in the hotel room because nobody knows what to do with you. So you go to some doctors and you persuade them that life is not worth living, and they agree with you, and then you pay them X amount of Swiss francs or whatever, and then you get special telephone numbers and everything. And when you feel I've had enough, I have had enough of everything. I've had enough of struggling. I've got no money in my pocket. I've got nothing. But you're going to pick my mobile phone up. Hello, it's Alec here from the UK. Yeah, what can we do for you? Make an appointment for Sunday. Possible? I'll go from here, go out the door. That's the end. I'm going to go to a hotel in Switzerland where it's perfectly legal. And I am going to take about half a cup of this. I will get enough liquid, like half of that in liquid to take. And because I live on my own and because I am nobody, I would have paid for 2 people to stand each side of me to hold me up. Because when you do go like that, you're counting down the seconds and there is no way that it can be stopped. Suicide, you can try and you can get caught before you die and you can be repaired. Where this, once you go, you cannot come back. And when you're put in that situation where life is definitely not worth a penny and it's not worth even opening your eyes for, what's the use of being alive? I was fully paid member. A lot of money was being paid. I went to Newcastle, went to Turkey on holiday, which I don't know whether I'm ever going to see that chap again, the Blue Mosque in Oberchek. Maybe never see him again. I'd been back 2 or 3 times. I've got the stamps on my passport to prove it. I've gone out my way that I've been within 20 miles. I've actually gone down there purposely for the day and hovered around the masjid and sat in there in the hope that he comes. I just wanted to say thank you. That's all. Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you because when I wake up in the morning, I am so bloody grateful I'm alive because I am only here once and there is only one that can finish your life. Not you. Allah will take you when you're ready. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Shukran. And hopefully one day I will be able to thank you personally.